Guys, One Piece chapter 1089 is hot off the presses, and we're seeing how in the world of One Piece, news travels fast. So obviously, I'm going to be completely spoiling chapter 1089, so if you haven't read it yet, please go do that right now. I'll wait here. Okay, so let's start from the back. That final panel. Oh my god. Where we get the whole Yonko crew of the Straw Hats holding York hostage, forcing her to call the Navy. It's just incredible. Zoro, Usopp, and Nami look especially threatening, and we can see that for now at least, they've got everything under control in the lab stratum and on Egghead in general. They're all beaten up and bruised, yeah, sure, a little bit. But don't worry, they're all also eating and getting their strength back. Like Luffy has some meat, Frankie's drinking his cola. They're all going to basically be at full strength for this inevitable siege of Egghead Island. Sanji's in his element too, just rushing food out to everyone. Obviously focusing on Nami-chan. Also with the Straw Hat crew is Bonnie and the main body of Vegapunk. And we can even see Lucci there chilling with his little pigeon. This scene that leads up to that final panel is the reason that the final panel actually hits so hard. The reason that everyone looks so damn cool in it. We see a call leaving Egghead and going directly to the Room of Authority, where like the 5 elder planets all like to hang out and give out all their orders from to keep the world government spinning. And this is actually picked up by Kizaru, who's listening in. On a side note as well, how cool is it getting to see so much of Kizaru in this chapter? In this phone call, we get a bit of an exposition dump from York about why she did what she did and why the government decided to accept her help and, open communications with her, why they're even talking to her in the first place. We get the why from both of their sides. So York wants to become a celestial dragon and live the rest of her life in luxury and safety. Initially, it seemed like York was kind of like selling insider information from Egghead to the government in exchange for this dream of hers, which then kind of grew to her sending them the designs for the Mother Flame. In this phone call, we hear the Gorosei ask about if she can actually recreate this weapon by herself, like if she doesn't need the rest of the Vegapunk satellites. So if she can potentially offer a weapon to the government that can rival an ancient weapon, you know that they are going to move heaven and earth to try and rescue, or more fitting, capture her to get her into their care and into their custody. In the phone call, York's asking them why they tried to kill her along with the other Vegapunks when she was the one that actually reported to them that he was researching the Void Century. She's on their side. And she obviously went to them with the information in exchange for her safe passage to Mary Joie. She makes a few requests here. Alright, so listen to these. She says, you can't destroy my special laboratory. And what she also says is the power station I need to make the Mother Flame is here on the island. And at first read, it kind of sounds realistic. Alright, cool, she needs a lab to make it and she needs the power station to make the Mother Flame. But after we've seen this awesome last panel and realized that she's speaking under duress, like she's got a sword at her throat, we realize that there's a very good chance that this is a calculated lie that will effectively stop the Marines from initiating a buster call on the island, or using other long-range weapons of mass destruction that they have, like the Mother Flame. It's a great tactical move from our team. It's a great technical move. The moment where she breaks, she cries out, she screams like, Straw Hat Luffy's here and he's gonna kill me, followed by that last panel where everyone's just sitting there watching, holding the transponder snail out to her. It's just chef's kiss. Prime One Piece. We are at the stage of the story where we want our protagonists to be taken seriously and like the genuine, formidable Yonko crew that they are. There are a few theories floating around the internet at the moment that the Straw Hats are going to take an L here, and I couldn't disagree more. With all the repetition in story beats from Seabody Archipelago and having the similar characters in place like Kizaru, Tamaru, the Pacifistas, etc. Even things like other members of the worst generation being demolished and then, the Straw Hats just coming into these insurmountable odds. This is the moment where we're going to see the Straw Hats step above, surpass their limits, and really prove once again that they're built different. They're stronger, they're more prepared, they're smarter, they've been through so much more than the other crews, like the Heart Pirates and the Kid Pirates that have both just been defeated by the other legitimate Yonko crews. And so the Straw Hats genuinely, honestly, legitimately stand at the top of the heap as this, legitimate Yonko crew. And they've earned it. We've been with them. We've been there with them the whole time. We know what they've all been through. We know what they've overcome. Like, they've definitely earned it at this point. This is going to be kind of their coming out story to the whole world. And the fact that they're taking Vegapunk with them, the man with the knowledge about the Void Century, it means that they're about to change the whole world. They're about to make history. I can't stop looking at this panel. I love this panel. I think I might just leave it up for the whole time on this video. So the first half of this chapter is showing the repercussions of using the Mother Flame one time. There are earthquakes, there are tsunamis, there are cities wobbling and falling down, there are other natural disasters happening. Not to mention, apparently the sea level has risen 1 meter. Like, does that mean across the globe? Is that from the displaced water from the hole that was left behind? Like, that is just ridiculous. And other than the thousands of innocents that would have died in the Lelouchia kingdom, because we know that they didn't all get away, right? Countless more have been killed or became, unwilling migrants or immigrants, I'm not sure which one, that have had to leave their home after the entire island is now underwater. Note too, the hole that was left behind in the aftermath of the Mother Flame is the exact same hole that we've seen in Enies Lobby, right? So what does that mean? Does that mean that Enies Lobby is actually God Valley? Probably. Like, God Valley is the only other place that we've heard of that's disappeared, and then that's the only place we've seen that has a hole that matches the one at Lelouchia. So it's a pretty, I don't know if that's confirmed, I don't know if we can go that far, but like, all signs are right there, right? So the breadcrumb trail that Oda has been leaving for years, well, we're finally catching up. And this is just another indicator of the heinous shit that must have gone down in the Void Century. Like, it must have been the most disgusting thing you could ever imagine. Because if they're willing to cause like semi-genocidal harm just to stop the information from getting out of what happened, of what they did, who knows what they actually did. It makes me proud of the Straw Hats to think that they're standing up to this horrific regime, and I do suspect that Vegapunk had a strategic role in what York was saying over the snail here, but the tactical side of them, coupled with their strength, tenacity, creativity, and everything else, just makes me so stoked to see what happens here. And like I said, they are a legitimate Yonko crew at this point. Imagine what kind of weapon Frankie can whip up with the tools and science that is at his fingertips right now on Egghead Island with Vegapunk. His whole life he's gotten upgrades from Vegapunk, indirectly, definitely. But he built his first cyborg body from the leftovers he found in the old Mads ship from Vegapunk's golden years when he was the head scientist of Mads. Then in the time skip, he took refuge in an old Vegapunk lab, and upgraded his body again. It would make perfect narrative and character sense for him to get some cool upgrades here too. So the world government is just really turning the hose on the entire world right now. They're covering their asses for the Void Century. They are doubling down so hard that they are killing innocents all over the globe. At the moment, the people don't know why these events are happening. But something like Punk Records, which is the internet type thing that is Vegapunk's dream, where the whole world can upload their research and, perhaps brains or memories to a central hub that is accessible to anyone else. Well, if that gets out, then the people are going to find out about the government, the Void Century, everything, very quickly. And from there, it's going to be a very fast decline for the world government. Luffy's whole being, his whole drive is wanting to be free. Yeah, I know Pirate King, but the reason he wants to be Pirate King is because that is the person that is the most free in his eyes. Vegapunk wants the whole world to have the free information, the freedom to attain information, free energy. He wants the world to be free too. And that makes me think that he'd actually be such a good addition to the crew. He's got a dream. He would be great with the Straw Hats. Don't you think he fits in well in this panel? He could be upgrading the ship, he could be upgrading Frankie, he could be upgrading Usopp and Nami's weapons, Chopper's rumble balls, Sanji's body. Obviously Sanji probably wouldn't accept, but the more I think of it, the more I love the idea of Vegapunk sticking around for a long time. So we have a break next week, but after that we'll be right back into it and continuing at this breakneck speed of the final saga of One Piece. I think we're finally going to get stuck into the actual siege. What an awesome chapter. I basically rate every chapter 10 out of 10, so I'm not even going to bother rating this one. You guys know how much I love One Piece. Have an awesome weekend, guys. Take care. I will talk to you soon. And if you've watched this far, I'd like to humbly invite you to leave a like or a comment on the video, say good day, consider subscribing, and maybe even share the video to a friend of yours.